So the big story of the day comes from the Wall Street Journal, and I've spoken on a few occasions about FSG being prepared to take on a minority shareholder, and you probably remember me mentioning the name Billy Beane of Moneyball fame. I told you guys that Billy Beane, along with his sports banker mate Jerry Cardinal, have put together an investment fund of around $575 million with the aim of investing in a sports team. This morning the story broke via the Wall Street Journal that the pair are hoping to acquire a 25% stake in FSG, Liverpool's parent club, or parent company obviously. That level of investment, along with the other $1 billion that I'll talk about in a second, would see FSG valued at about $8 billion and would also see it being listed on the stock exchange. Red Ball Acquisition Corp, which is the fund set up by Billy Beane and Jerry Cardinal, has brought in money from investors with the aim to invest into a sports team. If no investment is found within that 2-year period, that excess money of around $1 billion would have to be repaid to any investors, but it looks like they're trying to get that deal sorted where they take a 25% stake in FSG. The $575 million that they've already raised will be boosted by around the $1 billion extra that I spoke about from those other investors. And Jerry Cardinal already owns Toulouse, and I believe Billy Beane has a stake in Barnsley, and I think he also does some advisory work or something like that for a club in Holland. So this is something we've spoke about a lot on the channel over the past couple of months. I talked about potential investment coming down the line to Liverpool. The owners have always been willing to take on somebody who they think could strategically help them move forward, and it's not just about the money. They were never willing to sell the club at this moment in time. They always spoke about a strategic minority investment in the club. It looks like it could be a little bit further here with Billy Beane and Red Ball Acquisition Corp looking to invest in all of FSG. So FSG with regards to the Boston Red Sox, Liverpool Football Club, and everything else that FSG have their hands in, shall we say, with regards to their business. So keep an eye on it. Let's sit and see what happens. There's probably a good chance that there's some truth to this one. No, there's absolutely some truth to it. What I mean is there's probably a good chance this may happen because of the good relationship that already exists between John W. Henry and Billy Beane. Obviously, Billy Beane with the Oakland Athletics, famed for that Moneyball system that John W. Henry tried to bring to the Boston Red Sox. You've all seen the film, I'm sure. Let's wait and see. It's going to be very interesting to see if they can get that done. It could be massive for Liverpool Football Club, or it could not. I genuinely don't know how this will affect us. The stuff around FSG being floated on the stock exchange, then again I'd be very intrigued to see how that works for Liverpool Football Club, and I'd also like to see if this leads to us potentially having a sister club or a feeder club, or whatever way you want to discuss that. As I said there a few minutes ago, Jerry Cardinal owns Toulouse. There's been talk of us maybe linking up with a Dutch club or something in the past to send players out on loan to gain experience and either come back to Liverpool then or maybe be sold on for a profit. So it's an interesting story during the international break when there's not really too much else out there. We've spoke about the Jack Butland stuff and all the potential things that may happen. But this really is interesting, and it's something that I'm going to do as much reading on as I can. Let me know your thoughts about this, folks, in the comment section as well. If you're watching this back, maybe you have some information you'd like to share. Maybe you're somebody who comes from a financial background that would be able to fill me in on a lot of stuff regarding this, because I'll be the first one to say I've got limited understanding of finance in general. I've never been involved in any of these massive deals or anything like that. But it is really interesting, and this one seems to add up a bit. You probably remember there was talk of somebody looking to buy Liverpool a couple of seasons back. I think it was some relation of Sheikh Mansour's, if my memory serves correct. Or it was either that or the guy that owns Paris Saint-Germain, one or the other. There was talk of them looking to buy Liverpool. There was a value thrown around at about £2 billion at the time, and that was flatly rejected by FSG, who said that they're not willing or wanting to sell Liverpool Football Club at this moment in time. But they have always publicly held the line, and they've been very consistent on it in saying that they are open to the possibility of taking on a partner or a minority stakeholder in the club. We know that LeBron James owns a small stake in Liverpool Football Club. I think it's to do with an image rights deal or something like that that he has with FSG as well. Again, that's great. It helps brand awareness for Liverpool. It helps get Liverpool out there. Seen LeBron arriving for the NBA, I think it was the finals, with his Liverpool shirt on, his class. And again, you tie that into Nike and stuff as well. There's lots of links there. So one to keep an eye on over the international break. And again, if you are somebody that can shed more light on this, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section. What is FSG in full? Fenway Sports Group. That's what it stands for, mate. Fenway Sports Group. They used to be called NESN, New England Sports Network, then changed to Fenway Sports Group. They have a lot of other assets. I think there's a lot of, they own assets to do with, I think, motor racing and a couple of other bits and pieces as well. I don't have the full list to me at hand. Again, this is a new story, one that I'm just trying to find information on. But have a look at the Wall Street Journal yourself. Have as much of a read about it as you can, and let me know if you have anything else. Perhaps you're somebody who knows more about Billy Beane and what he could bring to Liverpool Football Club, because, you know, I've only heard Billy Beane's name mentioned with Moneyball in the Oakland Athletics. I don't really know much about the dude other than that. So any feedback on that or any info on that would be greatly appreciated as well, folks. And again, I don't know what this means, but it is potentially a big story, and I'm sure once it gets picked up more broadly by the likes of James Pearce and the proper journalists, they'll cover this in far more detail than I'm able to bring you right now. But interesting times, ladies and gentlemen, and one definitely worth keeping an eye on. So let's wait and see where it goes, and let's wait and see how everybody's feeling in the chat. Get Billy Beane in, said Captain Clun. The investors want Mbappe 2021. Look, that is a dream. We all think that maybe Nike could do something here for Sancho or Mbappe. I don't think we can ever afford Mbappe's wages, even with this level of potential investment. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what will Liverpool be valued at if FSG goes onto the stock exchange? Will that have a positive or a negative impact on the club? I don't understand, because that's not my background. And I'm just a mere football fan like everybody else. But yeah, just something that I read today. Billy Beane is a Liverpool fan. I don't know if he is or isn't, mate. I can't say. Is it AZ Alkmaar Billy Beane has shares in? I don't know if he even has shares, mate. I think he might be an advisor to one of the clubs in Holland. I don't know if he does have shares in it or not. I know I'm fairly certain Barnsley is one of the clubs that he does have shares in. But I think he might just be an advisor to the company or the club in Holland. Weren't FSG worth £2 billion? No, Liverpool Football Club is rumoured to be worth around that mark, mate. FSG as a whole have no idea what their valuation is. But this valuation, if that investment went through, would value FSG at $8 billion. So that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and you can see how well FSG have invested in the Red Sox and in Liverpool and improved those assets as well. And look, they are assets to them as much as we think of them as a football club that we all love. Assets is the way that's looked at, I suppose, from a cold-hearted business point of view. Not that I'm accusing our owners of being cold-hearted, by the way. I think they've been very good owners, as I've said, for quite a while. Yeah, look, interesting times ahead for Liverpool Football Club. We keep going from strength to strength, and, you know, again, the owners have made mistakes along the way, but I keep saying they've brought us to where we've wanted to be. We've got the Holy Grail of the Premier League. We've got the European Cup, best manager in the world, a fantastic squad, a new main stand, training ground facilities. Good times. It is a good time to be a Liverpool fan, ladies and gentlemen. And look, thank you for taking the time to watch. Let you know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm going to take tomorrow off, as I promised you guys, and I will see you on Monday. We'll start our build up to the Merseyside Derby next Saturday. We'll be live from 12 o'clock, because the game's at 12:30 PM kickoff. What else have we got? Don't forget to join the Anfield Agenda Flick Chat group, link in the description. If you want to follow us on Twitter or on Instagram, it's just at Anfield Agenda. If you want to follow me personally, it's just at Craig Holden. Connor Crosby is at Mr. Crosby _. I think that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. I'm off to watch the rest of the darts. Up the champions. Love to you all.